Hi there, Telebait here, and we're getting 40 new cards today, which I'm really excited for. And I'm going to give you, from my first impressions, what I think the 5 best cards are coming in this expansion. And if you want to hold off a bit before you craft them, just because you want to see them in action before you do commit to crafting them, I'll be streaming with all new cards live at twitch.tv/telebait from 7 PM BST. Or you can always catch my deck builds here on YouTube. Just hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. In the number 5 spot, I have Field Promotion, and this card is really interesting and I think super fun. It's a 2-mana burst speed. Next time you play a unit this round, grant it Scout and give it Elite. The Elite tag doesn't really matter so much, but being able to grant any unit you want in the game Scout is crazy. And a lot of people on Twitter and Reddit have already theorycrafted crazy combinations. Like I've seen people think about Teemo, Zed, Draven, Riven, Taric, Swain, Hecarim, Renekton. There's just so many good options. And because of that, I think this is just a card you really want early on in expansion, just so you can experiment and have fun with all these new decks. Next on my list, I have Abominable Guardian. This is another one which has been hyped up already quite a lot. And it's such insane value, and it can actually make Yetis a viable archetype. It does seem really memey when you first look at it, but getting a 5/5 down for no cost at all is insane. And the effect is fairly easy to get off in a deck which you've built for it. Like, you have that 1-cost Yeti, then you can play the Avarosan Trapper, I believe it's called, Avarosan Trapper, and then you can get another Yeti down. And I don't think getting 2 Yetis down to get this down for free is that hard, and you might be hitting that on turn 4 fairly regularly. So I think this could be a really strong card. Additionally, because of its stat line and cost, there's a lot of potential synergies with this card. One thing is it's an 8 cost, so that gives it synergy with Lysandra. I wouldn't build a Lysandra deck around Yetis, but having Lysandra and the Watcher as an alternative win condition in a Yeti deck can make a very nice versatile deck. You can go for the tempo game plan with Yetis, and if that fails and your opponent manages to control your board, you then can fall onto the slower Watcher game plan. So having an ability to win early and late without too much deck building cost is really insane, and the Abominable Guardian plus Lysandra opens up that possibility. For my number 3 card, I have Line 'em Up. This is a 2-mana burst speed, summon a Powder Keg, create and knock 'em down in your hand. Knock 'em down is a 1-mana, slow speed, deal 1 to anything. This card hasn't got the hype I thought it would. Like, I look at this card and I think, wow, that's insane. Kegs can come back into the meta again with this card. And I don't see that many people on the hype train for this card. It might be because it's a little on the boring side. All it does really is summon a Keg and give you a 1-mana, deal 1 damage. But being able to summon a Keg at burst speed just opens up your options, and having versatile more options in a Keg deck is huge. And then additionally on top of that, Knock 'em Down isn't bad in itself. And because it can deal 1 to anything, you can target Nexus with it, which can help progress your Gangplank level up, which in a control deck can be quite difficult to do. And that's the type of deck I'll run this in a Keg control deck, but you will still be running Gangplank in that. So having a Knock 'em Down and the option to go Nexus if you want to help level up Gangplank. But you're not really playing this card for the Knock 'em Down. It's the Line 'em Up and being able to summon that Keg at burst speed, or even threaten the Keg at burst speed. It just gives you so much more options, and your opponent has to worry about so many more things. The most important thing about beating burst speed is Kegs before have always been slow speed. So there's never been a threat of, oh, he'll play a Keg and then he'll play a spell. Because you can see them play the Keg and you have time to react. This doesn't give your opponent that ability to react. You can play the Keg, play the spell. Or you can play the spell, your opponent buffs up their unit, then you play the Keg to still kill that unit. There's a lot of threat this card has, and I think it will make Keg control possibly a really strong archetype again. In number 2, I have what is possibly the Merciless Hunter of this expansion. So Merciless Hunter, a lot of people said before it was really strong, and turned out is really strong. If you run Shurima, you run Merciless Hunter pretty much. In this case, the really strong card that a lot of people theorized will be pretty good is Astral Fox, which is a 4-mana, 3/3 fearsome, kill an ally to deal 3 to the enemy Nexus. And this is basically a 1 mana more expensive Doom Beast that deals 1 more damage. Yes, you do need to kill a target, but you're in Shadow Isles. You have plenty of targets to kill. You can kill an ephemeral unit from Stalking Shadows. You can kill one of your spiders. You can kill one of the insane Last Breath units like Curse Keeper. There's so many good options for Astral Fox to kill. That's not really a downside. Yes, if your opponent does kill that unit, it does interrupt this. That's the big downside compared to Doom Beast. But the way I see this is Astral Fox isn't competing with Doom Beast for a deck. You would run 3 Doom Beasts and 3 Astral Fox, and you'll build a deck around those cards because it's just more of that same really strong effect, just dealing burn directly to your opponent's face. People already mentioned things like Stalking Shadow synergizing with Astral Fox, so you can play 10 mana to deal 6 damage to the enemy's Nexus, which seems pretty bad, but in an aggressive style deck, you're more of running out of cards than you are mana, so you're quite happy to pay 1 card to deal 6 damage. And finally, in the number 1 spot for what I think will be the best card coming in this expansion is one of the new champions, Pike. And honestly, this card just looks like busted, and I don't want to be calling for nerfs before we've even played the deck, but Lurk seems pretty strong, and Pike is the main reason why it looks absolutely insane. Pike is a 4 mana 2/3, which seems awful, but his effects are what make it insane. He has quick attack and lurk. When I lurk, transform me into Death from Below. Now, Death from Below is what makes Pike insane. If you have a normal vanilla Pike, he's pretty rubbish, but Death from Below is insane. What Death from Below is a fast speed 4 mana spell, summon Pike striking an enemy. And because of this, there's so few ways to interact with Death from Below. You have to either have like a barrier or a spell shield or a deny to stop this Death from Below interacting. And by the time you're actually playing this, you're probably not playing it on turn 4, you're probably playing it a bit later, and in a lurk deck, Pike will probably have 5, maybe 6 attack, depending on how well you've drawn. And 4 mana, deal 5 or 6 damage to summon a 5/3 or a 6/3 is insane. It's just like a crazy, more powerful Tri-Beam, which is also fast speed. And one thing to consider is Tri-Beam already has Ezreal Draven, which is basically a deck built around Tri-Beam, and that's a tier 1 deck. So you have a better Tri-Beam coming this patch, which almost definitely will have a deck built around it. And we haven't even talked about Pike's level up yet. So Pike levels up from allied Pikes having dealt 15 plus damage. Now, that is a lot of damage. It is not an easy level up to do. But one Death from Below will get you a long way to that. Then you have other good cards which can potentially synergize that. Things like Bone Skewer, or you can just attack in. And attacking in with Pike is fairly safe because he has the quick attack keyword. Getting him to 15 damage off won't be that hard. And if you do get it off, he just becomes bonkers. Because he then does, when I kill an enemy, strike the weakest enemy. And it continues to strike the weakest enemy until he doesn't kill an enemy. Honestly, he seems really, really fun, and it is a difficult level up condition, so you might not be getting that board clear state that often. But even before Pike levels up, just the Death from Below is a really, really strong effect in itself. So that's it for my top 5 coming in the Rise of the Underworlds expansion. Do you disagree with my top 5? If you did, let me know what your top 5 would be in the comments below. Until next time, thanks for watching and have a good day.